Hey everyone, welcome back to another online battle. I've got a free-for-all for you today. I was playing the Beastman and I decided I wanted to have a little bit of fun with the Beastman in this game, so I decided to go with an all Vanguard deployment army, as I was playing with a couple mates. And we have Dwarf going with the Lizardmen, Alcathor going with the Dwarves, and a random Pro-Ghost going with the Vampires. So it didn't quite work out for me because I was hoping the Vampires had brought zombies and skeletons, but they brought a front line of fully heavily armored Graveguard, which didn't work out so well for me in the end, as you will see shortly. But my army, it consisted of 2 Centaurs with great weapons, a front line of Goreherd and Goreherd with shields, backed up with some Ungor Raiders, and then some Centaurs with throwing axes. Dwarf's Lizardman army. He had some Skink cohort, Saurus warriors, Saurus spears, and more Skink cohort on the flanks. He had a Bastiladon and a Bastiladon with a solar engine and a Bastiladon with revivification crystal. That's hard to say. Lord Mazdamundi, and then backed up with some feral cold ones. For Dwarf's army, he had a front line of miners and dwarf warriors, so miners on the flanks. Then he had at the back some Dragonback Slayers and some Honorary Slayers with some Bugman's Rangers, as well as a Grumbling Guard. And then for his lords he had Thorgrim, Grudgebearer, and a Thane, and a Runesmith. So he didn't actually come with any artillery by the looks of it. Yeah. Okay, and for my lord, I had Malagor the Dark Omen and 2 Gorbals. I probably should have gone with the forward deployment lord. Forget what his name is, but the one that has the whip. Anyway, can search that later. And for the vampires, he unfortunately had a front line full of Graveguard, which ends up smashing my Vanguard deployment, but it was a bit of fun. And then he had some Crypt Horrors and some Khan Race in the back, so heavy infantry with a little bit of flanking from Direwolves. So let's see how this goes. So I've just charged straight on up to try get into the back of him as quickly as possible. He's not reacted as of yet. Everyone else is just kind of sitting around. The dwarf player, or Alcathor, has realised that I've forward deployed everything and has known that he now needs to come over this way, so that's what he's doing. Now he's reacting. All the Graveguard are streaming towards the front, and we're going to have a head-on clash between Graveguard, Crypt Horrors, Khan Race, and my front line of Goreherd, which are going to get absolutely creamed because of the massive armor that these guys have, and punch power with the Crypt Horrors. Summoning in some zombies in the back from the Vlad von Carstein. And then my Centaurs with great weapons end up getting tangled up in some skeleton spearmen, which doesn't do them that great. And as you can see, my front line breaks quite quickly. So this kind of army does work well against unarmored factions. So I was hoping that they would bring more zombies and skeleton warriors, and that would have worked quite a bit better against that. So the Lizardmen have decided to just pick off some of my far-reaching units and use Lord Mazdamundi to get a bit of magical damage into the vampire army. The dwarves are still bringing up their front lines and come over to kill my summoned Cygor, which got a little bit of damage done to the Bugman's Rangers. But as you can see, I've been smashed by those Graveguard and Crypt Horrors. Ungor and Goreherd. Goreherd and Goreherd with shields are no match for heavily armoured Graveguard units. So it's quite a slow approach now from the Dwarves. Nice little bit of damage going in there from the Bastiladon solar engine. And Lord Mazdamundi getting a few little shots off with his skink priests, his little skinks there. A couple little poison darts going back that way. The Khan race are going to get into Lord Mazdamundi. Oh, they are armor piercing, so that is probably an alright fight for them. And now I'm grouping together what little army I have left in order to try to get some sort of damage in on the enemy. As you can see, the Khan race chasing Lord Mazdamundi back to his army, and the Lizardmen just sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen. Same for the Dwarves, they're getting some skirmishing going off onto the flanks, the Skink cohort with the Bugman's Rangers. Not really doing all that much damage to a Skink cohort. And an absolute beating coming down from the Bastiladon. Let's see, is he going to do another shot? Here we go. Smashes those Khan Wraiths. Not really something you should target unless... Oh no, yep, it does magical and fire damage, so that will do well against Khan Wraiths. Taking out those last couple of zombies with what army I have left, and using my Cygor to get a little damage in there. Oh, smashing those Graveguard, giving them a nice hit. The Dwarves have now started to skirmish, miners going in, taking out the Skink cohorts. And the Lizardmen seem to be pulling away from the vampires and going down towards the Dwarves. Might not have been the best choice. Just using my Cygor now to get as much damage as I can on anything that's around here. Getting some nice damage into these Dwarf Warriors. Those Bugman Rangers don't really seem to be doing much damage, do they? Ah, Saurus Warriors with shields, that's why. They're shooting into shields, which is going to kind of neglect quite a bit of their damage. A nice shot into the Dwarf Warriors there from the Bastiladon. And it looks like there's going to be an engagement here from the Graveguard. You can see the little skinks on Mazdamundi throwing some spears out. And the Dwarven player seems to have forgotten to do his charge. Oh, Mazdamundi just chucking a number of the Graveguard, hurling them across the battlefield. Same for the Bastiladon back here in the Khan Wraiths. And now I've come in to do a bit of skirmishing against these miners with my Centaurs, running away from their blasting charges. Oh, the rock missing, not quite hitting its mark, unfortunately. And I was just kind of holding back, getting as much skirmish damage as I possibly could to try and hold that lead that I'd built. So, yeah, it looks like the vampires are losing to the Saurus Warriors in the front. Saurus Warriors and Skink. How are they losing to Skink? Oh, I'm guessing Lord Mazdamundi packed quite a punch there. 52 weapon strength to 30. Yeah, I guess that would be quite damaging. A ruination of cities going down there. Not getting quite as much damage into them as it probably would have liked. And now the dwarves have decided to come up and wipe the last little bit of my army out. We got a nice little battle going on here between the Gorbals and Dwarf Warriors and Dragonback Slayers. They'll go down pretty quickly against the Dragonback Slayers, I would have thought. Oh no, the Slayers are getting quite torn up over here. Interesting. Goreherd with shields helping out. And I've got Goreherd coming in to try and take off Dwarf Warriors. They are quite armoured, so they're not going to do that well, the Goreherd. Last little bit of my Cygor, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can before he disappears, being summoned and all. Centaurs getting as much damage as they can into these troops as well. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be enough. Malagor the Dark Omen charging on in. Smashing into those miners. Not having quite as much effect as like Lord Mazdamundi. And that's almost it for my army. They're ratting off the battlefield. And shortly the Gorbals and my Centaurs will also be taken out by what's remaining of this Dwarven army. So the vampires have been, I was going to say thoroughly smashed, but they still seem to be surviving. Vlad von Karsten and a couple of... He needs to get these Saurus warriors into the backs of these Graveguard and Vlad von Karsten. They shouldn't just be sitting around doing nothing. The Khan Wraiths have chased off that Bastiladon and seem to just be sitting there not doing a lot either. Not sure why he isn't doing anything with these Saurus warriors. But over here, my army has been pushed off the battlefield by the dwarves, and Malagor is giving up his last little bit of fight. Bugsman's rangers and miners finally breaking him and chasing him off the battlefield. Finally he's getting these Saurus or Skinks to come back into this battle. And the only thing left is the Banshee. Or, oh no, Vlad von Karsten has gone over to the Saurus warriors. It's interesting he still isn't getting them to fight. I would have probably called them over to smack Vlad a little more. But he seems to be doing quite well for himself over there. The Banshee starting to break. Yeah, there we go. He started to crumble, losing little bits of health as he goes. And now the last of the dwarves are coming over to take out what's left of the lizardmen. The vampire player should have gotten these Khan Wraiths back in. They may have helped a little. Obviously he wasn't going to win, but never give up. Okay, so Lizardman taking out the last of the vampires over here, and the dwarves streaming over with quite a lot of army left to take out the last of the Lizardmen. So we've got a fight going on here between Lord Mazdamundi, Thorgrim, Thane, Runesmith, and some miners, and Bugman's rangers. He's still not using his Saurus warriors. Not sure what's going on there. At least these ones are fighting against the Runesmith. Vlad has all but been eliminated. We've got a Bastiladon over here fighting some dwarf warriors. Malagor has come back and is getting a bit of grumbling guard. And everything here smashing into Lord Mazdamundi. Okay, there we go. The miners running into the Saurus warriors to battle it out with them. I think that the Lizardman player was focused quite a lot on Lord Mazdamundi and had forgotten about his Saurus warriors for a second there. The Bastiladon with the Revivification Crystal should be getting into... There we go. Let's watch this charge as he takes out a pack of dwarf warriors. Oh, I didn't go quite as far as I thought he would. Thought he'd smash right through them. Same for the Bastiladon with the Solar Engine over here. He's out of ammo. He should be getting into the backs of these Bugman's Rangers and dwarf warriors. He's fighting a singular dwarf warrior by the looks of it. Oh, that's interesting. Singular dwarf warrior. Okay, quickly end this. So this goes on for a while. Saurus warriors, Lord Mazdamundi, not quite going down, but fully capped in healing, so he can't heal anymore. My units end up being routed off finally by that grumbling guard. And now Lord Mazdamundi is being chased away as well, with next to no health left. He's going over to kill the Khan race for some reason, by the looks of it. Saurus warriors just enraged, chasing dwarf warriors all around the battlefield. Bastiladon Revivification Crystal getting into the Thane and Thorum Grudgebearer. And that's it. The time eventually ran out. So, I got quite a few kills, but unfortunately my Goreherd weren't strong enough to take on a front line with quite so much armor. As I said, if they had brought zombies and skeletons instead, probably would have worked out a little better, with my Centaurs being able to focus down the Lord a little more. Alcathor's Dwarven Warriors did quite well. Bugman's Rangers actually got quite a few kills, surprisingly. Dwarf's Lizardman, Lord Mazdamundi, MVP with 233 kills, holy moly. And these Bastiladons doing quite a bit of work as well. Proghost with his vampire army, he got quite a few kills on my Goreherd with all those Graveguard. But as soon as he went to fight the Lizardman, wasn't quite as effective. He needed I've forgotten the Khan chariot thing that has like siege effects on it. He needed one of those to heal and back up his Graveguard army. That would have helped out quite a bit, I believe, if he had that backing them up. But other than that, it was a great free-for-all. I enjoyed myself thoroughly with a bit of a cheesy Beastman Vanguard deployment army. I might try that in the future in like a 1v1 situation, see how it goes there. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye!